What if I told you the entire British spy agency gets exposed in one single cyber attack? Every undercover operative, every identity, every mission, all blown wide open. And when MI7 runs out of agents, they have to bring back their last option. Not the best, not the smartest, not the most modern. They bring back the one man who still thinks the internet is a rumor. Johnny English. And somehow, this disaster of a spy is the only thing standing between the world and total digital chaos. So the movie kicks off with MI7 getting absolutely destroyed, without a single bullet fired. A mysterious cyber attack hits their system, and suddenly every undercover agent's identity gets leaked to the public. Like, instantly. One minute they're blending in, the next minute they're on the news, like, breaking, this guy is definitely a spy. And the agency panics. Because when every active field agent is exposed, that means MI7 has no choice. They have to reactivate the retired agents. You know, the ones who are technically trained, but realistically should never be allowed near a mission again. And that includes one man who is currently living a peaceful life as a geography teacher. But here's the twist. Johnny English isn't just teaching geography. He's secretly training his students like they're tiny secret agents. Which is insane, but also kind of impressive. The problem is, when MI7 calls all the old agents back in, Johnny English shows up like he's James Bond, walking into a fashion show. And in classic Johnny English fashion, within minutes, he accidentally incapacitates the other retired agents. So now, by pure stupidity and bad luck, Johnny English becomes the only agent left. This is like if your entire firefighter team got injured. And the last guy standing is the dude who can't operate a hose. Of course, English refuses to do this mission alone, so he demands his old partner and sidekick, Jeremy Bow. And Bow isn't a badass fighter. He's basically a nervous office clerk who somehow keeps surviving these missions. So, MI7 gives them their gear, and it's exactly what you'd expect. Explosive candy. A tracking device disguised as a sweet. And equipment that looks like it was designed in 2004. But here's the funniest part. English refuses to use a smartphone. He's like, no technology. Technology is how they get you. So instead of driving a modern spy car, they take an old Aston Martin. Because English believes old school is safer. Which is true, if you ignore the fact that the car itself is basically a museum exhibit. Their investigation leads them to France, to a fancy place called the Hôtel Magnifique in Antibes. This is where the cyber attack originated. And English decides the best undercover disguise is waiters. So now we've got two British men pretending to be French waiters in a luxury hotel with absolutely zero stealth skills. They manage to steal a phone from someone important, and on the phone is a photo of the next target, a yacht called .com. But before they can escape like professionals, English accidentally sets fire to the restaurant. Not a small fire, like a full call the firefighters and pray kind of fire. So they run, and they sneak onto the yacht. And this is where they meet one of the most dangerous people in the movie, a Russian operative named Ofelia Bulatova. She's smart, deadly, and confident. Basically the complete opposite of English. She catches them, but they escape. And while they're running, English notices something very suspicious. The yacht is packed with computer servers, which makes no sense for a normal yacht. Unless someone is running a cyber operation from the sea. English and Bao decide to follow Ophelia, and she's driving a futuristic electric BMW like she's in Fast and Furious. English is chasing her in the old Aston Martin like he's in a retirement home rally. They speed through the countryside, and then the Aston Martin runs out of fuel in the middle of nowhere. So now the world's last spy is stranded on the side of the road. Ophelia comes back and finds them. And instead of killing them right away, she sets up a meeting. She tells English to meet her later at a hotel in Cagnes-sur-Mer. And English is immediately like, oh wow, she's beautiful. She must be trustworthy. Bao tries to warn him. "Sir, she's clearly a spy." But English refuses to believe it, because Johnny English has two weaknesses: technology and women who look like they could kill him. English meets Ophelia at the hotel bar, and she's playing the classic spy game: charming, mysterious, dangerous. English is falling for it hard. Meanwhile, Bao is investigating, and he finds proof she's an operative. But English doesn't listen, so later that night, Ophelia tries to kill him in his room. And this should be easy, right? She's trained. He's not even aware. But English accidentally takes energy pills instead of sleeping pills. So instead of falling asleep, he becomes wide awake. Like, terrifyingly awake. And he suddenly decides he's going to a party. Ophelia keeps trying to assassinate him, but every attempt fails because English is basically moving through the world like a drunk tornado. He dodges danger without even realizing it. At one point, she gets knocked out. Not because English is skilled, but because he's clueless. And somehow, the universe keeps protecting him. It's like the world itself is saying, this man is too stupid to die. While English is busy surviving assassination attempts by accident, the cyber attacks continue, and the Prime Minister gets pressured to make a deal with a Silicon Valley billionaire, Jason Volta. This guy is basically the movie's version of a tech genius who smiles too much. He offers security solutions. But English suspects something darker. English discovers Volta owns the .com yacht. And now it's obvious. Volta is behind the cyber attack. Because who else would expose every spy? And then show up like a hero offering help? That's not a coincidence. That's a business plan. So English and Bao rush back to Britain to expose him. To get proof, English decides they'll break into Volta's mansion. MI7 gives him a virtual reality simulation of the building so he can plan the infiltration. Sounds smart, right? But English puts on the VR headset, and then he accidentally walks out of the simulation room, still thinking he's inside VR, so he starts attacking random people in real life, punching, flipping, dodging, while everyone around him is just getting destroyed. And English is like, wow, this simulation feels so realistic. This scene alone is peak Johnny English. It's basically a man fighting reality itself. Now it's time for the real infiltration. They sneak into Volta's mansion. And guess who else is there? Ophelia. Because she's not working with Volta. She's working against him too. English finally realizes she's a spy, but still doesn't fully understand what's happening. They find evidence that Volta is planning to control the world by threatening to shut down the internet. English records the proof on Ophelia's iPhone. But of course, he presses the wrong button, and the phone starts blasting music, so now the entire mansion knows he's there. Volta's security shows up. English escapes in the dumbest way possible. He hijacks a driving instructor's car and causes absolute chaos on the road. He gets chased back to MI7 like a man who just stole a tank. But then, he mixes up the iPhones with a driving student, meaning he loses the evidence. So MI7 and the Prime Minister don't believe him. And because of all the disasters he caused, the Prime Minister fires him. But Bao convinces English. Even if MI7 doesn't believe them, they have to stop Volta, because the G12 leaders are about to meet in Scotland, and Volta plans to use that moment to control the world's internet. So Bao calls in help. His wife, Lydia, who happens to be a Navy captain commanding a submarine. Because of course she is. They travel through Loch Nevis and approach Garrett's castle where the meeting is happening. And now, it's final mission time. Ophelia tries to kill Volta, but he's prepared. He's immune to her poison ring, and he sabotaged her weapon. Volta is always one step ahead. But then English arrives in a powered suit, like a medieval superhero. He saves Ophelia, and they chase Volta. Volta activates his plan. He's going to shut down the internet and extort the world leaders. English calls MI7, forgetting the warning about using a phone near a submarine. And this causes the dumbest chain reaction ever. An MI7 secretary accidentally places two phones next to each other. English's call overlaps with Lydia's call. And Lydia thinks English just gave the order to launch a missile. So she launches a ballistic missile. Yes, a real one. And the missile locks onto a tracker beacon. English left earlier, a sherbet fountain. The missile hits the .com yacht and destroys Volta's servers, so English accidentally saves the world. With candy. Volta tries to escape by helicopter. English and Bao chase him. Ophelia gives English a tablet that can disable the helicopter. But Volta laughs at English. He's like, "You can't even use technology." So English does the only thing he's good at. He throws the tablet at Volta's head, knocks him out instantly. Then, English smashes Volta's phone with a sword and stops the cyber attack. The Prime Minister praises English. The world is saved. And then, English accidentally removes his armor in front of everyone and basically exposes himself to the press. A perfect Johnny English ending. He returns to his school as a hero, but right when things seem normal again, he sees the headmaster about to eat one of the explosive jelly babies. And English's face says it all. Not again. And that's Johnny English Strikes Again. A movie where the world's last spy can't use technology, but still manages to save the world through pure chaos, luck, and accidental genius. If you enjoyed this recap, drop a like, subscribe for more movie stories, and comment what movie I should cover next.